Alright fellas, here we are back with Pokemon Masters, and today we're going to be looking at the Mix Scout again. So, I'm going to be making this video because a lot of misinformation was spread about the Mix Scout before it released, which I'll say was fair, right? I mean, on my end, I did some misinformation spreading. On other people's end, they had their own thoughts and ideas, and well, since the Mix Scout has come out, I'm going to say that all of those thoughts probably need to be reanalyzed. Just for the fact that there is a lot of information we did not know about when it comes to this banner. Mostly the obvious fact that every single non-Master Fair limited sync pair is not featured, but in the pool for this banner. So that definitely changes things quite a lot. So yeah, I've got a list of pros and cons here on my phone that I'm going to be, trying to explain a little bit in depth, telling you why the Mix Scout could be good, could be bad, who it's targeted for, etc., right? So, looking at the pros of the Mix Scout, obviously the big pro is that it has all available sync pairs featured, right? Every single general pool sync pair, every single general pool 4-star and 3-star, right? Obviously not the free-to-play characters, but it also has every Pokefair up to... I don't remember what the last one was. Was it Ray? It may have been Ray. I think it was Ray. As every 5-star up to Ray. It's got the variety banner here. It's also got the special costume sync pairs, seasonal sync pairs, and whatnot, right? By the way, this is made by Sages on Discord. Just putting that out there. I may forget to put it in the description, so I'm going to say it now, right? So, all Pokefair, seasonal, variety, special costume sync pairs, and general pool sync pairs are in the banner, as well as, of course, the brand new Mix Red. So, let's keep that in mind, right? He's obviously the featured unit. The banner itself is a 7% 5-star pull rate, with Red being a 2% character like normal, and every other sync pair having a every single 5-star having a 0.025% pull rate, split between them, adding up to a total of 5%, right? So, yeah, you've got a pretty good chance, right? Just doing the math on that alone, I've got the tally over here. Limited 5 stars, bumped this up to 130 because I didn't include Red in it. I just included the, normal Pokefairs. If you want to do the math there and just calculate that, that is about a little over a 3% chance to pull a limited, non-Red 5-star that is limited, right? That is the chance of pulling it. And then if you want to include the 4-stars, because it does have Tina, which is here, Rachel, and Sawyer featured at about a 0.9% chance. So that's about an extra 2.7% chance to add there. So that's what, about 6%, just right there, just for Tina, Sawyer, Rachel, and the other 5-stars. And then there's also the fact that there are 3 general pool characters that are not available via tickets, so it gives them a little bit more value to pull, right? Meaning you can, add another 0.075% to this, right? So I'll just round it up to about 3.3%, right? Obviously, that's not like the exact mathematical odds of pulling something, but if you want to visualize it a little bit better, right? So if we factor in all of those together, we factor in the 130 limited sync pairs, or not limited sync pairs, limited 5-stars rather. So again, we go to about what, we do 129 times 0.025 plus 2 for the 2% pull rate on Red, plus about 2.7% pull rate on the 4-stars, and you got yourself nearly an 8% chance to pull something of relative value, right? Obviously, Red is going to be your most likely to pull 5-star because he's 2%, everything else is at a far less rate, but you do have the obvious chance of pulling another random 5-star, and it could, of course, be a general pool character. Just could be a random general pool character, but there is a very high likelihood, or probably a coin flip likelihood, realistically speaking, a little bit less than that, but still, of pulling a Pokefair character, variety, seasonal, or special costume character, right? Meaning that is a lot of value, right? Like you could go in for a daily, you could pull Usine, right? Very strong. You go in for a daily, you could pull Champion Iris. You go in for a daily, pull Signasuit Blastoise, or Signasuit Blue and Blastoise. Just, it doesn't matter. But of course, you could also do a daily, pull Lusamine. You could do a daily and just pull freaking Roxy or something, right? Obviously, that's just kind of how the gambling in the game works, but I think it's pretty notable to consider that, right? So, overall, 129 limited 5 stars. One of them, or add an extra 130, it's red as the 130th. 3 limited 4 stars with Tina, Sawyer, and Rachel, and then the 3 general pool characters not in the, scout, or sorry, not in the tickets, so they may be more valuable to pull up, and then 66 regular general pool sync pairs. I could have done the math wrong on this, of course. I'm not like a fucking mathematician. I also, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm counting, which I shouldn't be doing, so, whatever. So that is the big pro of this banner. You can pull every limited sync pair that isn't a master fair, right? So you could definitely just dive in with a daily, get lucky enough to spark a 5-star, and you could pull Signasuit Acerola. You could pull Special Costume Steven. You could pull Signasuit Steven, Signasuit Cyrus, etc., right? A lot of good stuff there, right? Especially because a lot of these characters have not had reruns before, or they're very, very recent, right? Like, obviously, anyone pretty much from the Alola Villain arc and later. Obviously, they're extremely new, and of course, you could want to try and pull for them. Or, of course, characters like Signasuit Steven, Signasuit Cyrus, Anniversary Skyla, Anniversary Raihan, Anniversary May, Signasuit Hilbert and Hilda, who are rerunning right now, but whatever. These characters who may have had very few reruns, or you don't think may rerun very often, well, there you go. They're rerunning, technically, in this banner. But that's actually a con I'm going to go into later on, but obviously it's good to have all these Pokefair seasonals, etc. be featured, right? All of them. It's amazing, right? And then, as mentioned before, we get the pull right for a limited sync pair. Again, if you just want to factor in not red, not the 4 stars, and not the general pool units, that's just 129 times 0.025. Over a 3.2% chance to pull something, which is pretty exceptional, I would say. That's definitely a very, very good thing to pull for. It's just amazing, honestly. It is just amazing to try and get that pull rate. Obviously, banners like this triple feature Unova Scout, that one's going to be better, right? Because it's got about a 4.5% total pull rate. And you could go for that. Realistically speaking, that's probably a good idea for dailies because that's a very good banner and you know what you're going for. Because, of course, this is a random scout. And, of course, while you could pull, let's say, Signasuit Steven, right, as your 5-star, you could also pull someone that's not super valuable, like Diantha, right? You could pull Diantha, or you could pull, like, there's not even really a bad 5-star. I don't know, your first copy of Gloria, because Gloria at 1 out of 5 isn't really that crazy. Maybe 2 out of 5 even, she's not really that crazy. Something like that, right? You can pull something that's not super valuable, or you can pull, like, Summer Lyra, one of those characters that aren't super valuable. But of course, if you just want a featured, limited sync pair, rather, you don't care about the value of strength, not a bad pull rate, right? And then again, consider you got yourself the other chance. You got the plus 2% chance for red, which boosts this up to 5%, over 5%. And then you got Tina, Sawyer, and Rachel also boosting it. I mean, there you go, right? So yeah, the pull rate for just trying to pull a a limited sync pair is not bad at all. And then obviously the whole kind of gimmick, I guess, of the Mix Scout, other than the fact it features fucking everything, is the fact that it's obviously got scout points that carry over, right? See, the Mix Scout, as a sync pair scout, there's the plan to return multiple times after the previous one has ended. Scout points you earned will be carried over each time, and I'm pretty sure they mention here scout points are only 300. I don't know, maybe not. Either way, scout points is only 300 points. I say only, but it's still 30,000 paid gems. Because as you would expect with a paid gem banner, 100 gems for a single character, you get 1 scout point. 300 gems for 3 characters, you get 3 scout points, etc. Just repeat that. So you are spending, if you want to go to pity, 30,000 paid gems on this banner. But also do consider the big reason why people aren't complaining much about that, is because you have the very high likelihood of pulling at least a few limited sync pairs before you get to pity. Is it guaranteed? No, but is it very likely that you're going to pull at least 1 limited sync pair before you hit pity? Yeah, I would say so. So you definitely could make up your trip to that 30,000 gem pity by getting a couple decent limited sync pairs that you may not have had before, or dupes that may have been valuable to you, right? So that is obviously a pro for it. And of course, Scout points carry over, so you have as much time as you want, pretty much until end of service, to build up scout points for this sync pair scout to try and guarantee yourself whoever you want. You could use a gem per day, or a day. You could do a single daily every single day. It would take you 300 days to get to scout points. That's less than a year. You would be there pretty much by the 5th anniversary, right? So if you just want to do 100 gems daily, you have, again, pretty good chance, 300 total pulls to pull a 5-star, right? And there's a very good chance that 5-star is a limited sync pair, right? So not only are you going to pity and pulling for who you want, but you also have a very good chance of pulling some pretty useful sync pairs, or at least just limited sync pairs on your journey to pity, right? And again, pity, not too bad. 100 gems per day, 300 days, less than a year. Obviously, it's a long time, but still. That's a good number of limited sync pairs you could have that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And honestly, another pro is that's pretty cheap for people who spend money. Realistically speaking, it's pretty cheap. I tend to buy the daily Syncor bundle as well as the daily candy bundle, and I tend to buy the better end deals of the game, like the New Year's and anniversary deals, and also the Masters Day 1,000 gem deal. Some other things here and there, right? But mostly I would say that's it, because I just try and keep up with paid gems. I do content. I want to have enough paid gems to do something, right? But it's relatively cheap for people who spend money, right? Because if people spend and buy Move Candy Coin and Syncor bundles, like I'm going to say both of them, then it's a pretty good deal, and obviously buying normal gems as well. You could do probably 3 or 4 scouts, maybe even the 5-time scout every single day, and you probably wouldn't really dent your paid gems too much, realistically speaking, because let's say you spend 300 every single day just on the mixed scout. You could do that and you would just be breaking even because you get 300 paid gems every single day from the gem bundles, right? So you could spend 300 on the mixed scout and you're good. You could also spend 500 and you would end up, I believe you would end up in the positive, because that's 200 gems times 20 days. That's 4,000 gems, and so you break even there too, right? You break even there because when you buy the deals, you get 4,000 gems total just into your pocket, and then you make the other amount just back from over the course of 20 days. So you can make your money back then too, or make your paid gems back rather. So you could just break even. It's not too hard to break even when you're buying both deals and spending them on this mixed scout here. So if you do want to do that, go for it. It's not really a bad deal for those who spend money, and also, again, those who may spend a little bit more on gems here and there just to, build up your savings a little bit more. Not too bad anyway, right? You can do a 5-time scout, you can do a 3-time scout, you can do a 1-time scout, you can do whatever you feel like, and you're really not going to be noticing too much of a dent in your paid gems. Obviously, it's up to you as a spender to, save your paid gems for like select scouts or whatever you want to get, right? But also, it's not going to hurt you too much to spend for this mixed scout. Just thinking about it mathematically, I'm pretty sure most people could do that. So hey, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. For those who spend money, you could get yourself to scout points probably within a few months. Not too difficult. I know I probably will be able to. I'm just trying to think in my head how I can do daily discounts and this mixed scout and just try and make myself, come out at least even or with a very small net loss. So I'm just trying to think about it myself. Anyway, those are the pros of this banner. It's got all the available sync pairs. The pull rate for just getting a limited sync pair is not bad. 300 scout points and the ability for pity to carry over is amazing, as well as having it pretty cheap for those who spend a decent amount of money on the game, right? It's not too bad, right? Like if you spend like $50 a month on the game, pulling for like daily discounts on this banner is not bad. They're not too bad for you, especially if your goal is to just pull, a limited sync pair. But there are obviously cons as well, right, to this banner. There's still a lot of cons, and a lot of them are notable, right? The first big one is that it's paid gems only, right? It's paid gems only, so no free-to-play player is going to be able to pull for this at all, which is, it does suck. I do think that's a little bit annoying. Sorry, it's a little bit annoying to do that. I really honestly think you should have had a free daily option for the players, free-to-play players rather. Like, even if it was just 300 non-paid gems. 300 non-paid gems and you get a single out of it, I feel that would have been valuable, at least to a lot of players, right? Obviously, would I have probably recommended people to do that? Because, yes, no, maybe, I don't know, right? But I still think that there should have been at least some sort of free option available for this banner, whether it be a 300 gem single or something, or like a 1,500 gem 5 times multi every single day. Whatever it be, I don't know. But I do think that free-to-play players should have been able to pull for this. I don't think locking all of these characters and that red behind this banner is a great idea, because just not everyone can do it, right? It's blatantly, this leads into my next point, it's a blatant money grab, right? It's just for people to spend more money on this game to try and, hope that they pull a sync pair out of the, limited pool, or maybe even cater to those who are like, hey, I want Soccer Gloria, Challenger Gloria, whatever, Gloria and Cinderace. Hey, I want to pull her, but hey, it's probably going to take you to pity, right? So it's kind of leeching off those people who are very desperate for a sync pair, but, haven't otherwise been able, or been desiring to pull for anything because Gloria hasn't been featured, or whoever the character may be, right? So it's kind of money grubby in that sense, right? I'm just going to be honest with you. It just kind of is. So it's a pretty blatant money grab. I saw Zenfogel put up some points yesterday, and I agreed with literally all of them. Like, the whole thing relating to mixed scouts, I agree. I pretty much agree with everything he said. Obviously, all of this is his stuff, and he mentions it as well, right? He says, I can't speak. Sorry. So, as you can see here in the bottom few sentences, he pretty much just lays out the mixed scout, value varies from person to person. It's not a signal of end of service or anything, but obviously it's pretty big way to make money, right? Pretty big way to make money. DNH has a predatory business model. It pretty much is, yeah. Pretty much is. It's kind of leeching off of those people who want to buy gems just because they may see a sync pair or two that they want in here, but the likelihood is that you're not going to pull them before pity, right? That's just the truth. It's very unlikely. Unless you want the new red, I guess, in which case you have a pretty good chance of pulling it before pity, but I'm talking like if you want a card, if you want Ray, UZ, Insignia Suit Silver, Oleana, Battle Tower Leon, Challenger Gloria, Nimona, any of these type of characters, Insignia Suit Steven, you're not likely to pull them before pity, right? You're not specifically, right? So just do keep that in mind. It is a pretty predatory banner just to get people to spend money. It's not really worth it if you don't spend money as it is. I wouldn't really recommend it. Maybe, of course, if you want to just buy the $4 USD daily gem and sync orb bundle, you could do that and just do daily discounts on it, but just realistically speaking, it's not the greatest idea, I would say. I would just say save up for select scouts because they're cheaper and they're cheaper. That's just the biggest part of it. They're cheaper. And then the biggest con, I would say, is red is still paywalled. This red and Venusaur character here, he is still paywalled, locked to pay gems only, and that is just shitty. That is still very, very not good. I'm trying to be a little nice here, I guess. It's not a good thing that he's locked behind a paywall only. Granted, is he a very strong sync pair? No. Is he super valuable? No. But it's just the fact that this could lead to us in the future having more sync pairs just locked behind a paywall. It's not a good thing that you would lock a sync pair like this. And I've seen multiple people bring up the, I think it's down here, possibility that mixed scouts, mixed sync pairs will appear outside of the mixed scout. This is stated in every single format of Sync Pair Scout. It was stated with the Variety Scouts last year, and the only time Variety Scouts were featured outside of a Variety Scout is this Mixed Scout. So if your reliance is on this little message here, that's saying that they could be featured outside of Mixed Scouts, then you are hoping for another thing similar to a Mixed Scout, pretty much, right? But just, again, realistically speaking, you are hoping for something that is unlikely to happen, one, soon, and two, at all. Because, again, going back to the Variety Scouts, this is the only time Variety Scouts have been featured outside of a Variety Scout or a Variety Ticket Scout. And they're a year old. I'll bet you money that they said the same thing for seasonal sync pairs, and I don't think seasonal sync pairs have ever featured in any other banner outside of their seasonal scouts, seasonal tiered scouts, the ticket scout, as well as the select scouts, right? I don't think a seasonal, outside of this mixed scout, has appeared in any other type of banner that's not seasonal. So, they say it on every single sync pair scout format just to just to say it in case, you know, they may re-release them later in the future for some other unrelated means. But if you're relying on this red sync pair to be re-released in the future, especially in a timely manner, you're putting your hopes up just to be put down, because there is no likelihood that will happen, at least not anytime soon. So that's just how it is. And this red still being paywalled is a bad thing. Like, you put him behind a paywall and you time gate him, and it's just really scummy, right? It's just, even if he's not that great, some people have red as their favorite character, some people have Venusaur as their favorite character, and the point of the game is to be able to either pull who you want for free, or, you know, if you get very unlucky, or if you are wanting a lot of sync pairs, you'd have to spend money, buy paid gems, whatever. Obviously, that's the business tactic. But making it so players cannot pull a limited sync pair at all via free gems is just scummy. It just straight up is, alright? That's just how it is. So, red pretty blatantly part of this money grab scheme. And the final one is, this may lead to skewered reruns. I hope not. I really hope that they don't use this Mix Scout as like a basis, not really a basis, but I guess I kind of look at how to do reruns in the future, because Sigma Suit Steven has never rerun outside of this Mix Scout. Sigma Suit Cyrus has only rerun twice, and they were in paid gem only banners, and still is, I guess. Obviously, none of the characters after Emma have re-released at all. So, what are you doing? Well, I guess Emma has a rerun, but, you know, the data mine and whatnot. So, I guess, technically, if we don't count the data mine yet, Annabelle. Everyone from Annabelle onward has not rerun, ever. So, what could this mean for reruns in the future? We don't know, and I really don't hope that they use this as a basis to rerun random sync pairs in the future, because, like, imagine they don't ever put Sigma Suit Steven on, like, a Select Scout or a free rerun, because they're like, hey, you want to pull one of the best Pokefairs in the game, you have to dive into this Mix Scout. No, that would be really, really shitty, and I don't think that's good. And obviously that can apply to every other sync pair here, right? Like Sigma Suit Acerola, very valuable sync pair. Or obviously any other Pokefair, seasonal variety, whatever. Obviously seasonals don't rerun in a timely manner, but I hope that this doesn't mean they're going to skew or screw us out of like seasonal Select Scouts or anything, right? That'd be horrible. Same thing with special costume characters, and obviously varieties are already having a kind of an issue with their reruns, right? The only rerun we've had was the EV Day ones, which they're rerunning again for EV Day. So don't really know what they're going to do for the rest of them, but still, let's just hope that this doesn't mean that reruns in the future are just we're screwed out of them, right? Like, let's just hope, okay? So yeah, those are my points. The pros of this is that it's pretty cheap for people who spend money, and they have obviously all limited sync pairs available, which is great. But there are obviously the cons, in which it is only paid gems, it's still blatantly money grubby, and red is still paywalled, and it may affect reruns in the future, but I really hope not. I really, really hope not. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of my general overview of the Mix Scout system. If you are, yeah, I don't have much else to say. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. I'm going to be doing dailies and maybe even the 3 times and 5 times scouts every so often and whatnot, but yeah, I'll see y'all later. I hope you all enjoyed.